All right. Thank you very much for having me. My name is George Nyabuga. I am from Kenya. I work at the Aga Khan University in Nairobi, and specifically at the Graduate School of Media and Communications. So we deal with communications and media and journalism, and we train people in those lines.
Exactly. To just dive into our conversation, Professor, today, we have like 3 questions for you to be able to understand. In a world of infodemic that we live in, probably someone would question the authenticity of media personalities and media outlets. Won't this affect the generation of journalists, the future generation of journalism? And whose role is it to play to actually see that this vice is eradicated?
I think first it is that the issue of infodemic is fairly serious, particularly around COVID-19, and this is especially because there was a lot of disinformation, malinformation, and a lot of fake news. As a result, I think it's the responsibility of professional journalists to debunk some of its myths, to deal with fake news and misinformation.
I mean, Professor, what happens when people lose trust in the formerly trusted people in courts? Because journalists, are taken to be watchdogs, and we would love to understand what happens when people lose trust in journalism.
I think that then means that they don't trust the information that is available on various platforms. And once audiences or people stop trusting that kind of information, and then it means that society is at risk. And this is particularly because majority of us actually depend on the media for information. Information from various sources, including governments, including the people that we've put in positions of power. And if we do not possess that trustworthy information, that credible and reliable information, then it means that society is at risk, especially because we often make decisions based on the quality of information that we have access to. And I believe it is then the responsibility of the media to be trustworthy by ensuring that they adhere to professionalism. And this professionalism means that whatever kind of information that they collect is truthful, is credible, is accurate, so that they can earn the respect of audiences. And earning the respect also means that they earn that important trust. I think, as someone said, there's a trust deficit at the moment. But that does not mean that people have stopped believing in what the media offers, and especially journalistic media. There's a lot of entertainment. There's a lot of discussions on radio, on television, and a lot of content that is of entertainment nature. That does not mean that many of us do not like that kind of information.
Exactly.
What we're always looking for is meaningful content that is impactful, content that speaks to the issues that we feel passionate about.
In that particular context, a professor, maybe this will even be our last question to you. You talked about in one of your submissions of the panel, you talked about appreciating and, of course, using the benefit of different perspectives and utilizing indigenous knowledge. And also people, appreciate, sources that they know are really so much, most of the times not even experienced, but they have lived longer to actually see some things happen, apart from, more than even the experts who have maybe read, gone to school to study. What is your, deep analysis on that particular one, explanation about it?
Over time, we've come to disregard our own local knowledge, our own local experts. And, as people that live in different societies, we know that, they are experienced people, they are knowledgeable people, they are people that have seen some of these events happening, or these issues, emerging. And these people possess a lot of knowledge on these matters. And as I said, issues of climate change, for instance, there are lots of people with, indigenous knowledge mainly because they've experienced drought, they've experienced a lack of rainfall, they've experienced maybe famine from time to time. And they are able to respond to some of the issues that they've faced in their own societies. And I'll give you a very quick example of agriculture that that understands climate change mitigation from agricultural perspective. There's a lot of local knowledge on plants that can resist, for example, drought, plants that can grow even without rain or can grow with very little rain. But unfortunately, I think we've gotten rid of that local knowledge as we seek to appropriate maybe crops that are foreign to those parts of the world. The other one is local technologies on agriculture. There's something that we call, for instance, the pits that people used to use in West Africa. So you dig a big pit and plant something. So when it rains, that pit collects water.
Exactly.
But that is not knowledge that is widely used because, we don't sometimes appreciate local knowledge, and the media itself is not appreciative of, using those experts because they believe maybe, people that are expert as a result of, acquiring knowledge from textbooks or from going to university are the real experts, while we ignore the people that have learned and their experience is actually based on doing rather than perhaps reading textbooks. And I think if we appreciate even our local languages, so you bring that person into the studio, speaking the local language, and maybe having in the same studio someone to translate what that person is saying, that kind of information will resonate with people. It will be impactful to the communities in which those people work and live in, and from where, of course, they have emerged and become successful in their own practices. They might not be appreciated, but I think it's the onus or responsibility of the media to try and cultivate those kind of sources and to make sure that society really appreciates them. And that appreciation is, of course, based on them providing also credible, reliable, and useful or relevant information that is necessary in that context.
Thank you so much, Professor, for actually, adding a brick on amplifying the African voice.